This spine-chilling horror film begins in 1953 with a flashback to Elise's childhood, where we learn about her traumatic upbringing and her psychic abilities. Elise has been communicating with ghosts since she was a child. We see her living in a haunted house with her mother Audrey, younger brother Christian, and her abusive father Gerald, who works as an executioner in a nearby prison. He despises her psychic ability and abuses her with continuous beatings and locks her in the basement whenever she says that she sees spirits. One night, when a nearby prisoner is executed, she tells her family paranormal things, including the prisoner's name, family, and crime. Her mother then tells her to not speak like that in front of her father, because he doesn't understand her gifts and is afraid. Later that night, Elise feels a spirit in their room and tries talking to it, but it scares the siblings and they scream, causing their parents to storm in. Gerald tries desperately to convince Elise to admit that she doesn't see ghosts, but she refuses. As a result, her father beats her and locks her up in the basement. Poor little Elise begs her father to not lock her there alone, but he leaves. There, Elise has a terrifying encounter with a demon. The demon disguises himself as a child and calls her through a mysterious red door. He beckons her to open the door, as only she can do that. She opens the door, and a terrifying hand with keys for fingers slowly slithers out and attaches the key to its thumb. The demon then possesses Elise, causing the entire house to shake violently. Audrey becomes alarmed for her daughter and comes running down to the basement, only to find that Elise is shaking in front of a wall. She runs to save her daughter, but the demon uses a dangling wire to strangle her and follows Elise into adulthood. In the present day, as an adult, Elise works as a paranormal investigator with her two psychics named Specs and Tucker. Together they help people by hunting ghosts that trouble them. One morning, Elise receives a call from a man named Ted Garza, who claims to be experiencing supernatural phenomena after moving into a new house. While on the phone, she learns about the fact that he occupies her childhood home. At first, she is hesitant to go and help him, but ultimately decides to face her past and confront the demons that have been haunting her, literally. As they reach New Mexico, Tucker introduces the team, telling Ted that Elise is a psychic, and they are her sidekick. Ted looks like a very petrified guy. He quickly invites them inside. Elise inspects every nook and corner of the house, and finds most of their old stuff there, which makes her melancholic. She wonders why Ted has not discarded them yet, and he says that they are too good to get rid of. Elise walks around the house, remembering her old memories, more bitter than sweet. She and her team of ghost hunters, Specs and Tucker, begin investigating the cause of the paranormal phenomena in Elise's old house, the site of her worst nightmares. Ted tells Elise that there have been a lot of incidents happening, and mostly in her old room. He has blocked the entrance with a mountain of Bibles and refuses to enter. She enters her room and cries at the sight of her hands on the wall, in the place where her father used to hit her. Ted comes and tells them how miserable he was. He says that one day when he was so fed up with the hauntings, he confronted the ghost and begged him, crying, to stop. Elise and her teammates feel pity for the poor soul, and she comforts him by saying that he shouldn't worry and that they would definitely help him. Later that night, the ghost hunters set up their equipment, called Winneba Ghost, according to Specs, and get to hunting. Elise goes around the house, while Specs and Tucker watch her through the cameras. While in her old room, she finds Christian's whistle under their bed, which he had lost when he was 6. She also finds a set of keys in her room, attached to her father's old uniform, and is led to the basement by mysterious sounds, where a female ghost appears. But Elise is unable to see her. When she is about to touch the spirit, the ghost jumps her from behind, takes the whistle, and after shouting, "Help her," disappears. The team hurries back to Elise, and she tells them a story she had once come across during her childhood. It was the day when she had run away from home, leaving her brother Christian behind. She had seen the ghost in the laundry room when her father came. She pleaded with him not to abuse her, and grabbed his face, revealing to him that he would suffer a heart attack in the future. They then find out the ghost that she felt earlier was the same one that she had seen when she was in her teens. The next day, Elise and her team of ghost hunters go to a nearby cafe. There she meets 2 beautiful women, who she recognizes as her nieces, Christian's children. She talks with them cheerfully, happy to see her family after so long. But then Christian walks in. He recognizes her, and immediately becomes upset. He accuses her of lying about the devil he couldn't see, and abandoning him with the real devil, their father. Christian angrily storms out, refusing to speak further with Elise. Elise calls after him, but he doesn't stop. She then proceeds to give one of the daughters a picture of Christian's whistle, to give it to him, and to tell him that she found it in their old bedroom. Later that night, Elise and Tucker hear a whistle from downstairs, and they rush to find out. The whistle leads Elise to go to the basement. She follows it around, to find out that it's coming from behind a wall. She asks the ghost a few questions, to find out that what she is looking for is indeed behind that wall. She grabs around the wall, and finds out that actually it is a disguised door. As they investigate, they uncover a series of disturbing secrets that have been hidden in the house for decades. She remembers the keys beside her father's uniform, and rushes there to get them. After Elise opens the door, she is shocked to find a woman who had gone missing, chained to the wall. Turns out that the ghost meant to help this poor woman when she said help her. What a good soul. Anyway, they aren't able to free her, because soon after, Ted storms in with a gun and threatens them. He is under the influence of the demon, Keyface, and locks them in the room to go up and take out Specs. Since Specs had been watching through the cameras, he is already aware of Ted and artfully evades him. He then proceeds to disarm Garza before Garza can end him, and pushes a bookcase over onto him, which crushes him instantly. The police arrive to rescue the girl, and Elise is then brought in for questioning. As the police grill Elise, she begins to feel uneasy about the demon back at home. Suddenly, she catches a glimpse of her niece Melissa's ghost, standing right in the middle of the police station. It's as if Melissa is trying to warn her of something sinister. Elise's intuition kicks in, and she realizes that her brother and his daughters had gone to the house to retrieve the whistle. But little did they know that the house was not empty. Keyface, a malevolent demon with a twisted obsession for stealing souls, was waiting for them. As Elise races to the house to save her family, Keyface strikes, luring Melissa into the basement by impersonating her father. The vicious entity inserts a key-shaped finger into Melissa's throat, stealing her soul and dragging her into the dark depths of the Further. Christian and Imogen, Melissa's sibling, are frantically searching for her when Elise arrives. They are relieved to see her, but horrified to find Melissa unconscious, bloody, and chained up in the secret room where the other missing woman was kept. As the haunting becomes more intense and personal, Elise relies on her psychic abilities to save herself and her team from the clutches of the evil entity. She is determined to bring Melissa's soul back, and with Imogen's admission of being able to see spirits, they form a team to take on Keyface and save Melissa's soul. The stakes are high, and the odds are against them, but Elise, her team of 2 sidekicks, and Imogen are willing to risk it all to bring Melissa back. With their powers combined, they are ready to face whatever Keyface has in store for them. Elise and Tucker descend the basement stairs, their flashlights barely piercing the darkness. Their mission is simple: find the ghost haunting the house and rescue Melissa from the clutches of the sinister Keyface. Imogen and Specs also scour the house for the Red Bible that could potentially help them in their mission. But things take a spine-chilling turn when Elise stumbles upon a nightgown belonging to the female ghost, Anna. As she holds the gown, she is transported to a flashback, witnessing the horrifying truth of Anna's fate at the hands of her own father. It turns out that the ghost she saw as a teenager was not a ghost, but a live human that her father later murdered. She discovers a string attached to a suitcase in the plumbing pipes, leading her to discover the remains of Anna and many other victims. Just when she thinks things couldn't get any worse, Elise is attacked by the demonic Keyface and dragged into the Further. Her fate now hangs in the balance, as she fights for her life and those of her loved ones. But Elise is not alone in her struggle. With Tucker by her side, and Imogen and Specs hot on their trail, they are determined to bring an end to the madness once and for all. With Elise now in the Further, captured by Keyface, Tucker and Specs try to hypnotize Imogen to go into the Further for the first time and to try and rescue Elise. Back in the Further, darkness has enveloped Elise, leaving Imogen to navigate the treacherous terrain alone. As she pushes past terror and uncertainty, she is met by Anna, who leads her to the red door and gives her the whistle. She tells her that she can't go any further. Imogen sets off to find Elise, who is trapped in a cage, reliving the nightmare of her childhood abuse at the hands of her father. But there seems something different this time. The evil entity that had been controlling her father urges her to take revenge. With Imogen's help, Elise breaks free, realizing the true nature of her father's torment. As she breaks the cane with which she is supposed to hit her father, Keyface threatens to take the souls of Melissa and Imogen. He plunges a knife into Melissa's chest in the Further, making her spirit in the real world slip away. Elise asks the demon to take her instead of them, and he stops. As Keyface attacks Elise, Imogen throws the whistle at Elise. She takes it, and with a swift blow of the whistle, Audrey appears, banishing the evil entity and saving the trio from certain doom. Elise reunites with her mother, and they embrace each other. While parting, her mother tells her to keep on helping people. They then rush to the hospital to save Melissa, who is about to pass away in the real world. Melissa's spirit returns to her body, breathing new life into her frail form. The family reunites there, and Christian forgives Elise. She passes the whistle to him as a token of their newfound bond. Tears flow as they embrace, and Elise leaves for her home in California, at peace with the knowledge that she has finally vanquished the demons of her past. The movie ends with another quest of ghost hunting for the badass Lady Elise, where she sees a vision of Dalton in her sleep, the son of a boy who she helped a long time ago, being stalked by a scary demon. She bolts awake, and her phone rings. The woman on the other line is Dalton's grandmother, asking for Elise's help. She agrees, saying that they'll meet the next morning.